Yo, what's going on, folks? Before I get started, I just wanted to say rest in peace to Terry Boseman. We really haven't said anything about it since he passed away on August the 28th. But the world lost a great person, man. For him to do what he did in the 4 years that he was sick, giving us 42, portraying Jackie Robinson, giving us the child with Black Panther, giving us Thurgood Marshall, and giving us the great portrayal of James Brown. Yeah, this one hurt. This one hurts for everybody involved, but considering how kind, how humble, and how passionate this person was, though, that's the way we need to live our life. You know what I'm saying? Just for love, peace, happiness. Just let's just be nice to each other. Just be kind to each other, and like that'll make the world so much more of a better place. But prayers and thoughts goes out to the family, the Boseman family, all his family and friends, man, and everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's like we lost a cousin or something. Even if you didn't know him personally, it just felt like that was just one, somebody you knew. So, like I said, once again, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. So, yeah. So after hours of grinding and putting time into this game, I can humbly sit here and say I am comfortable enough to give you my honest review of the Marvel's Avengers game. And this is going to be a real divisive game. I can already tell. Because it's kind of got me going two ways on this one. Because it has a lot of good. The things it does well, it does almost flawlessly. But there's so much bad into this game to where it'll kind of take you out of it. But before I get into it, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and leave a like for you boys. You know what I'm saying? We got plenty of reaction videos. We got more video game reviews coming soon too. So if you like this one, let me know. I'll go ahead and drop some more video game reviews, especially considering we have a lot coming up. We got the Mafia Definitive, the Mafia 1 Definitive Edition. We got Cyberpunk 2077. But yeah, we'll get into that. So let me go ahead and dive into my Avengers review. Now, I'll start with the good. The story mode is fantastic. I didn't really know what to expect from the story mode. The beta, we didn't really get too much, obviously. And trailer-wise, we knew MODOK was going to be the main villain. Oh, I am going to try to leave this as spoiler-free as possible, so don't worry. I will just say this, though. If you didn't know that MODOK was the main villain, then obviously you haven't been paying attention. But back to the story mode, though. Bruce and Kamala's father-daughter-like relationship that they developed is basically the best thing about the whole story mode campaign. It was a good driving force, and not gonna lie, at first I hated Kamala. Between the beta and just seeing how she was originally, I didn't really like her. But going through the single-player campaign mode, I actually did like her, and she was the perfect protagonist to kind of introduce us to the story. But kind of like her bright eyes optimism when it comes to the situations that was going on. And just like her interactions with all the other Avengers in general, though, it was a good change of pace considering that it was a lot going on in this story. But as far as the campaign go, it took about maybe 10 or 11 hours depending on how you take it, so it wasn't really that long. It did do a good job of pacing when it comes to going between all 6 heroes because you do play with everybody. Now, speaking of that, Thor was so horribly underutilized in the campaign. Like, he literally had nothing to do. It was like he was just there. Everybody kind of left their stamp. Everybody, it was a reason why everybody was fighting, doing what they was doing. But Thor, he was just kind of like just there. Iron Man, the funny part about Iron Man was this was basically just a knockout version of Robert Downey Jr. from the MCU, and it's like they really didn't try to hide it at all. Honestly, Iron Man was probably my least favorite character to play with. Like, the flying mechanics was already trash, especially in the beta. But in the final version, flying with Thor wasn't too bad once you get the hang of it. But Iron Man is just a whole nother thing. Like, I'm telling y'all, if they would have just given Iron Man like an auto aim feature, he would probably be way more enjoyable to play with. But besides collecting the different suits, Iron Man is probably the worst character to play with. And that's saying a lot, but considering I am a fan of Iron Man. But like I said, this, the story, the single player campaign was okay. It's not, I guess, a small spoiler, but one thing I really didn't like was the fact that it wasn't a lot of villains. MODOK, Taskmaster, and Abominations are literally the only villains that you encounter as far as major goes. And considering the source material and everything that they got to work with, I feel like that was kind of a disappointment, because you can really kind of tell that they was basically, the meat of the game is basically in the Avengers Initiative, which is the multiplayer, stuff that you end up going through after you finish a single player campaign. And speaking of the Avengers Initiative, it takes way too long just to even get into it once you click on it. I literally seen every single hero get displayed at least twice before the game even loaded up, which was a huge problem. Another problem that I had was the fact that this is basically a loot-based brawler game. Just think about Destiny minus a bunch, minus the guns for the most part. But this game is basically a loot-based genre, and look, I'm not really a fan of it. And it'll be okay if it was done just a little bit better than it was done here. Like, for the most part, the gear that you do collect, it raises your power level, which is fine. But some of the perks that you get isn't even worth it. Or as soon as you find a piece of gear that you like, the very next mission or two, you're gonna end up getting a higher level gear, and what you already got is basically it's just useless after that, which kind of sucks. And also the fact that, look, I know they went after Destiny, you know what I'm saying, but at least with Destiny, there's at least a cosmetic change with the gear that you do collect. You don't see any type of difference in any of the different, clothes that you do get, so it's kind of pointless at the end of the day. Back to the good though. The combat is easily the best part of this game. Every single hero that you play with does feel different. The skill tree system is okay. It's not the best, but once you get into it, especially with characters like Thor is more enjoyable to play with once you unlock some of his skill set. My favorites to play with is Captain America and Black Widow. And like I said, once I upgraded Thor a little bit, I enjoy playing with him a little bit more. I like Hulk, but the only thing with Hulk is he's kind of slow and sluggish. So sometimes I'm getting knocked down first just because I'm playing with the Hulk. Miss Marvel is cool. Like I said, Iron Man is probably the least favorite person to play with. But overall though, the combat is fantastic when it works. Other than that though, and like I just mentioned, besides the heroic abilities, the fights don't really feel that much different, because there's not that much freaking variety when it comes to missions, enemies, or environments at all. So this is one of my main issues with the game. The iconic missions for the heroes, they feel slightly different just because the environment looks like it got a little bit more attention to detail. But other than that, it's just, the mission types, it gets repetitive and bland after a while. You really didn't notice it until you get, until the Avengers Initiative program. I feel like it was a missed opportunity once again, mission-wise, because when you think about it, you got Black Widow. You could have given her some stealth missions. Iron Man, if the flight, situation was gonna be like this, you could have had some big cinematic set pieces with Iron Man, in a flight battle or something like that. A little platforming with Miss Marvel and Captain America. Just anything. Just anything to mix it up, because there's only so many times I can go into a compound or an AIM lab or something like that, destroy 3 turbines, go to the different floor, fight an elite Synthoid, and then boom, that's it. So y'all gotta do something about that. Last and certainly not least, this game has so many bugs, y'all. when I'm telling you, and I don't want to spoil anything because it's not really a spoiler, so I can't really just show y'all what happens. But there's a few cutscenes to where Captain America is talking and his face is doing all types of things that it shouldn't be doing. If y'all remember the Assassin's Creed, I think it was Assassin's Creed Unity when it first came out, and they had to do that day one patch. Think about that, and that's exactly what Captain America's face was doing. Like, just, you know, there's lip syncing issues. Even when you put on like subtitles and things like that, some of the subtitles don't line up, or they'll just be so in depth. Like Kamala is thinking passionately about something. It's just like, how do y'all know this? But yeah, the frame rate drops so bad when there are so many enemies or multiple heroes on the screen at the same time. There's been situations to where I had to literally quit the game altogether just because the game was buggy, and the matchmaking system on this game is so inconsistent. Or it'd be a situation where if your friends don't join your strike team as soon as you send them the invite, just two or three randoms just randomly just pop up in your strike team, and you can't even kick them out. Why the hell can't I kick anybody out of my strike team? But all in all though, man, if I had to give this game a score, I will give Marvel Avengers a 6 out of 10. And look, I will say this though, even though I gave it a 6 out of 10, I enjoy playing this game. I got it on both systems, you know, I got it on PlayStation 4 and I got it on Xbox. So obviously I'm having some fun playing with this game. But y'all gotta fix these bugs, man. They're almost game breaking. And the crazy part is, like I said, when the game works, like when the combat is working flawlessly, it is an amazing game to play. But at the same time though, there is not enough good combat in the world to just make up for the fact that the game is buggy. The story mode, although it is fantastic, it's inconsistent at times with the pacing. The level designs are just bland and repetitive. And the fact that you had so much to work with, and this game could have just been a whole lot better than it was. With all that being said, I have a lot of optimism for it because of the DLC that we do got coming for the game. Now, one good thing about this is the fact that the DLC, especially the story DLC, all of it will be free. So that's a bonus because really didn't want to have to pay for no DLC. The first big DLC, which was announced to come like after a couple of weeks of the game, so we'll probably be seeing this by the end of September, is the Shield Substation Zero Outpost, and it's a new operation. It takes place after the main campaign in a brand new area, and it will come with 2 new mission types, which will be the Mega Hive and the AIM Secret Lab. And this will be a prequel to the Kate Bishop Taking Aim DLC that comes out in October, which will precede the Clint Barton, you know what I'm saying, the other Hawkeye DLC, which is supposed to come out in December or November, I want to say. Now, starting with the Shield Substation Zero stuff. Now, the Mega Hives are basically just regular Hive mission, except these have unlimited floors, and the difficulty increases with, you know, each floor you go to. Now, the thing with these is also they'll only be available for a week because they will switch out every week. And the thing is, if everybody in your party dies, then y'all have to start all the way up from the beginning. So 9 times out of 10, obviously the best thing to do is, you know, keep your partners alive as long as possible. Otherwise, yeah, you're just gonna have to sit there because you can't leave the game. You literally will have to sit there and watch your teammates while you're knocked out, you know, until the game is up with. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. It sounds like you probably should already be leveled up as high as possible before you do these. Speaking of which, the AIM Secret Lab missions is only for level 150 people. So if you are not maxed out, if you do not have a maxed out character, you will not be able to partake in the AIM Secret Lab. And look, it looks and sounds like it is going to be difficult as crap. So yeah, get your gear up. That's like basically the only thing I can say. Now, as far as the Hawkeye's DLC, it will be 2 parts. Like I said before, the Kate Bishop DLC will be the first hero, and she will actually come by the end of October. and Hawkeye, which Clint Barton. He will be in November. Kate Bishop's DLC actually takes place after the main storyline, so this will take place after the main campaign. And look, it looked like it's gonna be pretty interesting, especially considering the fact that it is going to introduce Clint Barton, Hawkeye. And the thing that intrigues me the most about Clint's DLC is the fact that it's named Future Imperfect. Now, for those who don't know, Future Imperfect is a Hulk comic series which sees a future where, humanity and basically all the heroes are dead except for the Hulk. So he kind of snapped, went nuts, and started going by Maestro. Now, the interesting thing about this is the fact that this comic ties into Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. Now, the Spider-Man in question is the 2099 Spider-Man, and this Captain Marvel is actually Marvel's son, and not Marvel or who we got now. So I'm intrigued to see how that works out, especially considering they did announce that we will be getting obviously Spider-Man DLC in the beginning of 2021, so maybe around January or February. But I wonder if that's gonna tie into it, because you can't have a future Spider-Man, 2099, and then you can have the Spider-Man from the Marvel game. So yeah, like I said, I'm intrigued by that. We will obviously be getting a third hero, who most likely be Black Panther, who is, most likely finished. They didn't show any footage due to what happened to Chadwick Boseman, him passing away. So out of respect for him, they didn't show anything. But I'm assuming we will get Black Panther as the third hero before the Spider-Man DLC drops, because although the fact that both Hawkeyes play differently, don't nobody want to have two back-to-back Hawkeyes as DLC. So definitely got to give us Black Panther before Spider-Man drops, and that would be fantastic. But yeah, man, that's my Marvel's Avengers review. Leave in the comment section below, what rating did you give the Avengers at, from 1 to 10? Like I said, I gave it a 6. And are you looking forward to the DLC? And what do you want to see added to this game, as far as heroes, villains, mission types? Because it ain't nothing like 3 or 4 of them, so we could definitely use more of that. But like I said, man, if y'all like this game review, let me know. I'll do more reviews in the future. Hit that like, subscribe button. Appreciate y'all watching this video, and your boy is out.